Listen up, everybody. Here's the truth. What sounds clean at 20 feet can sound like chaos at 200 feet. The stadium doesn't lie. So if you only train for the practice field, when you change environments, your line will crumble under those Friday night lights. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 9 of the Clinic in Your Ears. From rehearsal field to stadium is the topic of today. This is Mike, your host, with Soundstage EDU. So this is something that has weighed on me for a long time. I'll be honest. I am an audio engineer. So the sound coming off the field, either from your instruments or from the electronics on the field, has been a big deterrent to me. It's been a big reason I have not participated in the marching arts for several years. Because it wasn't done well. It was sloppy. It distracted. It made me not enjoy it. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm even bringing this up to you guys, right? The percussionists, the drumline guys, the pit people. Because listen, I believe that this whole thing from front to back should be run by the students, by you guys. You guys need to take ownership of the electronics that you're bringing out onto the field. Some of you are playing synthesizers. This needs to be a student-run activity. And that's what I'm pushing for. Because not every school can afford to bring out a consultant or an audio engineer to be on their staff full-time to run the audio and set it up and make sure it works and troubleshoot it and mitigate crises as they happen. Some schools can. But it's not fair to everybody, is it? So if you guys take ownership of this process, the show completely becomes yours. That's what we need to do. We need to hand it off to you guys, and we need to train you to listen for the same things that an engineer would. And you can take those skills with you after high school. So let's talk about some of the situations and some of the things I listen for as a professional in this field. One thing I've learned is that rehearsal fields are forgiving. Stadiums are not. Echo, delay, and reverb will magnify every flaw. You see, when you're in a rehearsal field, you're generally on a flat field and there's not things bouncing around. Whereas in your stadium, all of that changes. And I also want to point out that not only your stadium, when you change to a different stadium, there could be a bowl, it could be a wall, it could be at different heights. These are things that you guys need to be aware of and that you need to plan for. You're not always going to have a pro-level audio engineer with you. This needs to be done by you. And we can't expect your band directors to know how to do this because they didn't sign up to be an AV technician. They didn't sign up to be an audio engineer. That's a totally different full-time engagement that we shouldn't be expecting them to do. So we're going to train you guys to do it. Other things you need to really pay attention to is mic and mic placement and the reality behind it. Here's something that I ran into during a consultation just today, actually. They were talking about, they kept using the word amplification. Amplify. Make louder. And I want to point out to all of you guys there that although you're bringing out a sound system, an amplification system, and things like that, we are not amplifying the sideline percussion. Sideline percussion isn't about volume, it's about clarity. So bad mic placement or poor balance can betray even the cleanest lines out there. And if your sideline ensemble is responsible for the rhythmic grid and the pulse, which we discussed earlier, If there's not clarity in their sound output, you're setting everything up for failure. Here's another problem. Projection. Lines that only rehearse at themselves fail in big spaces. You must train to project your sound with consistency and not just power. That means don't practice on the side of your school where the wall feeds the sound back to you. That makes you think that you're projecting more than what you actually are. Go out onto the field. Rehearse like the big boys. Drag everything out onto the field and rehearse there. Align yourselves there. That way, when it's game time, when it's competition time, you're ready because you know what to listen for. Because you've learned how to project sound with consistency and not just the power behind your PA. And also, another thing to consider, a lot of you guys, and I see this from personal experience, a lot of these percussion sections rehearse in a parking lot. They're on concrete. So the goal isn't we sounded good at practice. The goal needs to be we sound clean anywhere, anytime, in any stadium. So that means move your practice positions to grass or dirt, to different textures. That way you're learning how to adapt to all environments. That's key. So this could go very far in depth. This could be a very long episode, but I know I've made a promise to you guys to keep these short and brief. So I built a Sideline Sound Setup guide. We'll call it Sideline Sound Setup 101, with placement tips, mic considerations, and the most common mistakes I see every week in stadiums. So this will be located on the Buy Me a Coffee page. There'll be a teaser version, just kind of a rough breakdown. But there will be also an expanded version coming soon, where I'm going to deliver you with basically all the things I use to set up a Sideline Ensemble's sound system for success. And these are documents that I bring into schools when I go there in person. So you know what that means. The full system, that's something I deliver when I walk into your venue, when I walk into your band room, when I walk onto your field, and I fix it live. When I can put eyes on what you're doing. There are other ways we can do this. You can certainly send me pictures of everything and I can guide you from here. It's not the perfect setup, but it is something I have done for multiple schools. I can even build your sound staging on your audio desk remotely from here and send it to you. There's a lot of things we can do. Bottom line, if you need help with this, reach out to me. Send me an email at soundstageedu@gmail.com, and we can talk about logistics and how that looks and how that works and what we need to do to set you guys up for success. But we've got plenty of lead time going into the next year, or we even got a little bit of time before we go into indoor drumline and we go into WGI circuit. Get me on board. Bring me out there to clinic the whole thing, or at least call me in virtually to work with the Soundline setup. This is what I do, and it's what I do well. So here's the takeaway. The stadium will expose you. The gymnasium will expose you when we go into indoor drumline. So if you want to sound clean where it matters most, you have to prepare for more than the practice field, more than the band room where your sound gets deadened. So share this with your staff and sideline crew. Follow this podcast so you don't miss the finale. It's coming up tomorrow. And of course, you can support me on Buy Me a Coffee if you want the expanded version of the Sideline Sound Setup 101 documents. And again, want the full fix, staging, mic placement, balance checks in your stadium, in your gymnasium, or whatever the situation needs, book me for a clinic. Because rehearsal clean isn't the same as stadium clean. Does that make sense? Sounds different to the person standing far away. So thank you for joining us on this next to last episode of The Clinic in Your Ears. Tomorrow will be the finale. I can't wait to see you guys there.